Welcome, everybody. College football week 1 is in the books, and college football week 2 is here. I'm Joe with the Game House, and today we're going to go over some college football week 2 news and notes. All right, as mentioned, it is college football week 2. With these videos every week, we're going to go over this article that I write for thegamehouse.com that goes over news and notes happening in college football. It's sometimes hard to keep up with everything happening on so many different schools and campuses, so I feel like this is one place where it can come together. We will miss stories for sure on this one. We'll try to update it throughout the week. But this is what's going on. This is Wednesday of week 2 when we're recording this one, so not a ton is broken yet. It's kind of been a lighter week on news, but we'll go through it and see what comes out of it. We're going to start it off with Ohio State and their quarterback situation. So week 1, Kyle McCord plays most of the snaps. It was supposed to be Kyle McCord, Devin Brown. Brian Day said in the press conference they're both going to play in week 2 against Youngstown State, trying to get, I guess, more of a look at both quarterbacks. I don't know. I expect Kyle McCord to kind of be the guy. He looked like more of the passer. It looked like, there were definitely moments where they didn't move the ball, but it was his first start, and it was a road conference game. That deserves some sort of credit. I think they probably would benefit from going with more snaps for Kyle McCord. He had 239 yards, 1 interception in week 1. But they're going to play both against Youngstown State. Youngstown State's an FCS program, had some success in the past as an FCS program. Don't expect them to put up too much of a fight against Ohio State, but at the same time, you want to see them get better quarterback play this week. I think Kyle McCord ends up winning the job and being the starter. But the ideal thing would be for Kyle McCord to get in rhythm early, to hit Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka, who didn't really have great games last week, and at least in terms of the box score. They need to get them involved, and I think if he can do that, that'll be a good start to getting him going for next couple weeks here when they got Notre Dame coming in. They're going to Notre Dame in a couple weeks. Curtis Rourke is set to start against Florida Atlantic. Ohio quarterback, his brother, maybe remember him, Nathan Rourke. He was cleared to play following tearing his ACL last season, but he played in week 0 against San Diego State, and then he had to leave due to injury. Head coach Tim Albin said he doesn't think Rourke will be limited in any way, so he's going to be good to go against FAU. Very good quarterback. I believe he won a couple of awards last year in the MAC for being such a good quarterback. Always important when you get that back. And as mentioned, there's not a lot going on in college football this week. Usually there's more, injury updates, even on a Wednesday. Definitely have more injury updates by this point. Just not really much to go off of. But we have Virginia quarterback Tony Muskett is questionable with a shoulder injury against James Madison. James Madison would have been bowl eligible last year had they been allowed to get away with joining the FBS. If you have a little bit of a trial period with the FBS before you can take a bowl game. And they're a very good team, so him being out could be a big factor. They did lose to Tennessee in week 1. The week's polls can be found here. We're going to go over that as well. Close out of YouTube here too. But the polls are interesting to me this week because we have, obviously the preseason rankings stay supreme. We should have Florida State at number 1 after their big win over LSU. But I digress. That's just how it should be. You should be rewarded for what you do on the field once the season starts. Preseason rankings are fun in the offseason, but once we get to the season, let's get to what happened on the field. But we have Duke jumping into the top 25. We have Clemson down at 25. That's for the AP poll. The coaches poll, you have coaches who just have runners do this for them. Maybe they went to bed early on the Monday night, but they have Clemson above Duke. That shouldn't really happen, but, I get you don't want to always drop teams too far just because of one loss. So we'll see what happens. There are just 2 teams who lost a game who are in the top 25, and it is LSU and Clemson. So it'll be interesting to see how these things move from this point on. We have Alabama playing Texas this weekend. That could be a fun one that shakes up the rankings a little bit more here, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of upsets along the way as well. All right, the next one up, we have Georgia assistant Jarvis Jones was arrested for reckless driving. It's a problem at Georgia now. There are so many players who get in trouble for reckless driving. We also had players and staff members lose their lives last year due to reckless driving. It's something that Kirby Smart needs to get under handle on. We'll see what they do in the future, but Jarvis Jones was arrested for reckless driving early this week. And then South Carolina safety Nick Emmanwori, I believe I said that right, is doubtful for the game against Furman. He got hurt in their first game against North Carolina. They should be able to take care of Furman, who's an FCS team in this week. But you also want to see your team healthy, and it would be good to get him some reps, even though he had a fantastic year last year. South Carolina has a whole lot of work to do after losing to North Carolina. So let me know what other news and notes I missed with this one. There's definitely plenty of stuff that will be keep on adding to the article as the week goes on. It's definitely not a fully finished product here, but we'll keep on adding to it. Make sure to check it out at thegamehouse.com as the week goes on to see any more news and notes. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.